everyone, welcome to the Golden Ratio podcast. I am Jen, GR Mom, joined as always by GR Dad.
Hi.
How's it going, GR Dad?
Pretty good.
Excellent, excellent. I have lost the file with all the notes for the podcast. I will find it eventually, but given the difficulty in getting us to podcast, we're just doing a no rules. This is our regular weekly podcast, but there are no rules this week.
Pants coming off, boss.
You do whatever you want with your pants. Oh my God. We don't have to do a cocktail of the week. We don't need to do a German word of the week. We're going to talk about the nightmare that was the transit from southernmost squad headquarters to northernmost squad
There were
headquarters.
some close shaves and dramatic incidents.
All right, so.
They were the same thing. The dramatic incidents were the close shaves.
All right, so I want to take some responsibility for the chaos because.
I don't think you're Go ahead.
Just a tiny tidbit. It all would have happened anyway, but we were planning to drive last Thursday.
Yep.
And I was like, there's this thing I want to go to on Friday. I said this on Tuesday night. I was like,
You did.
So it's Tuesday night. We're supposed to drive Thursday. And I'm like, yeah, man, there's this thing I want to do on Friday. Let's just fucking go tomorrow. I'm just sitting around waiting to go. Let's do it.
I'm getting antsy, I think was one of the
That.
quotes.
I'm like, we're just going to load up the RV tonight. Like, let's go. So we did wait until the morning.
To leave. We started loading immediate.
Yes. So it was a little more chaotic getting ready to go than we thought. Not a lot.
Yeah.
But a little bit more. But that does not justify any of the dog-related chaos that happened.
I was going to say, I don't think that didn't cause any problems. The dogs caused the problems.
So
it was the dogs.
This is the first RV trip for all the puppies, Fetazola and Ella.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, Jared Dad had the brilliant idea. We've got this like smallish portable crate for Ella.
It doesn't fit in a plane, but it's kind of that small. Yeah.
Yeah, a little. It's bigger than one that would fit in a plane, and it's got soft sides. And I think when she was a puppy, right when we got her, we had it kind of in the cargo space of the car so she wouldn't crawl all over.
Yeah.
So she still fits in it fine, and she was just unable to like control herself in the RV, so we put her in there a lot.
Yeah, that's right.
So that was great.
She didn't like it, but it worked.
She did not like it, but we left at like 6 a.m. and I was like, okay, like I'm going to sleep because I was up till like 3. Ingo's going to drive and I got to take care of all the dogs. And she's like crawling all over and trying to jump all over. And I'm like, you're going in there. I need to sleep and you're going in there. And then she's like, cry. And then eventually she fell asleep. I was like, that's right.
I was driving. I was like, she's crying back there. I hope she's not keeping Jen up. And I looked in the mirror and you're like sleeping. She's just like, Mirf.
Like, let me out of here.
Get me out of this box. I am so bored.
Too bad.
That was the main complaint of all the puppies is boredom.
Yeah.
And really nothing else.
Which I do understand, but there's also nothing we can do about it.
It is kind of a weak complaint. They had food, they had water.
There were balls, chewy things.
That's right. Yeah. Companionship.
So Ella was a little frantic, but she's 4 months old, so it goes. Zola was not great. She was also very frantic. In hindsight, I should have medicated her before we left. And she didn't get sick or anything, but she was kind of freaked out, where they get that kind of panicky look in their eyes. And all right, so some of you have seen a tour of the RV, but there's like a door on the side, and then there's like a few steps that go up to like the floor of the RV, which actually, like if you're outside the RV, the floor of the RV is like 4 or 5 feet off the ground.
Right.
And
hence the stairs coming up.
That's why there's stairs. And so there's a little 3-step stairwell inside the RV. And when we had St. Patrick, he would yeet himself into the hole where the stairs are.
Yes. So during the drive. Yes.
Yeah. He'd be like, I'm just going to, like, he was so unstable. So he'd just collapse into this hole, be like stuck on the stairs, leaning on the door. Like, I'm just waiting for it to pop open.
Yeah. The door is real thin. I mean, it's basically a camping door. Yeah.
So I built this piece of plywood with like a small kind of 2x4 box on the bottom that fits in the hole, and the 2x4s go in the hole part, and they keep it from sliding around.
So good. It's like a plug.
Yeah, and it's like really thick plywood, so like we can stand on it.
Totally.
It's great. And so when we're driving, we just put that over the hole, and then the dogs can walk on it. They can lay on it. Nobody's going to fall into the stairs. Now, a way that Ingo and I differ is that when I take the dogs out, I remove the cover from the stairs and take them down the stairs.
True.
And Ingo's like, I'm just going to open the door and like lift the dogs down.
I'll jump off the piece
platform.
of wood, the plywood onto the ground.
So the dogs are 4 or 5 feet up in the air on this platform. And Ingo is standing down there and he's like, I'm just going to lift them down. And it was in one of those moments where Ingo was lifting a dog down that Zola decided she was making a break for it and leapt off the piece of plywood onto the ground and started running into traffic. Now, Ingo had Remy, and I was astonished and screamed sort of like a banshee
At Zola.
at Zola to get the fuck back here. Screaming at the top of my lungs because she needs to understand that like she's about to die.
I mean, it wasn't freeway traffic. It was just like side road to the gas station traffic, thank God.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, it could have been worse, but it was still bad. And she did very quickly understand that that was an angry sound coming from me and got kind of freaked out, but didn't just stop and let me get her. She kind of bolted back towards the RV and Ingo, I couldn't see him. He was in front of the RV and I'm like, Ingo, get her! But very loud and angry, not at you, at her.
Right.
And she starts running towards the front of the RV, and Ingo just like does this horizontal diving tackle with the leash holding on to Remy out from in front of the RV across tackle, just perfect football tackle.
I grabbed her
Zola.
chest. Yeah, it was good. I was very proud of myself.
Pins her down against a little embankment. And man, I just picked her up and like threw her back into that RV. I got in there and I locked her in the bathroom, which was the right way to handle her the whole time. Like she was absolutely not trustworthy. And so anytime there was going to be opening of the door, Ella had to be crated. Zola got locked in the bathroom. And then we could take the other dogs out sort of one at a time. And Zola just panicked herself in the bathroom. So she would dig at the door, and she'd bark, and you could see like when we'd go get her, like her eyes were getting like crazy. You know, she's just working herself up, like totally detached from what was going on.
Yeah.
So that was bad. And so this was one of those drives, and we've had, I think, one other, where at some point we go into a time warp.
Time goes backwards.
It's like, okay, here's where we are. We should be home in 4.5 hours. And then we drive for an hour and a half, and then it's 5 hours until we're home. Why does this happen? I don't know. When we leave the Keys, if you weren't to stop, it would be an 18-hour drive. And of course, you have to stop and like fill the car and whatever. And our stops with the dogs are like 15 or 20 minutes, and we take them every 3 or 4 hours.
We need gas, yeah.
So you would expect to add 2, maybe even 3 hours onto the drive, depending.
That's right. It shouldn't take more than 20 hours.
21 at the outside.
Yeah.
What did this take? 23?
It was
light out by the time we got home.
Oh my God. We were on the road for a week.
And so I was like, I'm going to take, Ingo takes the morning shift, which I'm grateful for because it's very hard for me in the morning, but I am a night owl. So I'm like, I will take the 11 p.m. to like 2 or 3 a.m. shift. It turned out to be the
ETA was supposed to be 2 or 3 a.m.
Yeah, it was like 2:30.
Yeah.
8 o'clock, I was like, okay, our ETA is 2:30. I'm going to take a nap. You drive until 11, and then I'll take over. And then it took 11 to 5 in the morning. I don't know what happened. Did you drive backwards when I was napping?
Maybe I was driving in circles. I don't, not knowingly.
And so it's 4 o'clock, and we're getting into the DMV, and we're in like Quantico, and it's like tantalizingly close to home, but it's also an hour.
Yeah.
And Ingo's like, I think they need to go out. And I was like,
I thought Brody needed to go out. Someone I felt bad for I thought needed to go out. Remy or Brody.
And I was like, it's fine. Like, I don't want to stop a car.
I know.
And finally, I was like, all right. Like, so I pull off 95 into like some industrial park, at 4 a.m. And industrial parks, if it's the middle of the night, are great because there's tons of parking space and there's grass and there's like nobody around.
Yeah.
So we pull in there and we're taking the dogs like one at a time to go out. And you had Brody, I think.
Yeah, or Remy.
And I opened the door, and both Zola and Remy jumped out off the platform again, because I think Brody sits in the front seat, so you wouldn't have had to take that out. Jumped off the platform. Feta and Remy jumped off the platform and took off in opposite directions.
Oh my God.
Feta, fortunately, ran right to you.
Yes.
So you were able to grab her. And Remy is blind, and it's dark. So he just starts going. But fortunately, when I
Cuba Libre
used the extremely angry voice and said his name, he stopped. He's like, oh, fuck. And I was able to go over and get him and throw his ass back in the RV. So there were a lot of escapos.
Didn't someone open the door?
Yeah, that's how they got out. I forgot.
Yeah.
The reason that they got out there. So I guess the platform
You didn't
wasn't
let
up.
him out.
No, I had taken Zola out to pee, and I brought Zola back into the RV, and I was putting her in the bathroom, and Feta opened the door, which is how she and Remy got out. And to open the door, there's like a handle that you pull up. And so she must have jumped and hit the handle and then popped the door open. But that's the first time that's happened.
It may be the last time. That's like physically really hard.
There's a little like bubble shaped panel that slides over the door handle so it doesn't accidentally get bumped. I mean, when we're driving, it's locked and we've got that panel slid, and now we're just gonna have to keep the panel slid when we're parked also.
We're just gonna have to put mittens on all these
That's right,
dogs.
she opened the door.
Yeah, that's what was shocking, right? You didn't let anyone out. The door wasn't open. But
No, and I closed it tight because I was mad.
it popped open.
Slamming
Yeah.
doors around.
Remy, no, Zola, Feta was able to open it
Yeah.
somehow, because it probably wasn't Remy. He's not a jumper.
No, Feta absolutely was jumping at it. And then Remy's like, yeah, freedom.
Freedom. And then you called, and he's like, "Oh, no freedom, no freedom today."
Dick. So
he didn't know. He was going along with the evil one.
it was very stressful. Guac and Brody were perfect. Brody was kind of panty the whole time.
Yeah, but also very good.
Guac was
Yeah.
perfect, but Brody was so like Brody usually sleeps like 22 hours a day, and he was awake all day, panting. He had a good, comfortable spot. He was protected from everybody, but he's just nervous. And so on Thursday, we got here, I guess Thursday morning at 5 a.m. Thursday day, he's like, I'm done. We tried to feed him dinner. He's lifted his head up. He's like, nope.
I had breakfast. It's fine.
He slept. And this is the man who's like usually begging for a third dinner. He's like, I'm sleeping.
Don't bother me.
Yeah.
You could like lift his paw and drop it, and it would go flop.
Yeah. So he did start eating again fine on Friday. It was just much for him.
He's fully caught up. Yeah.
So I have, because
I don't know
we
what
know
we're gonna do.
I do not like to, I need to win.
Yes. You need to solve problems.
So I bought harnesses for everybody. No more of this collar nonsense. Everybody's got full body fluorescent orange harnesses now. And I am going to buy like leashes, but instead of having a handle on one end, they're just going to have like the little clips on each end. And we are going to clip them into the RV. So every time we stop, they're going to be attached. There's all kinds of rings and bolts. And
They're
stuff in
hardcore
there.
tactical harnesses, right? Don't they have like Velcro to attach?
They have it's a Molly
accoutrements.
system.
Yeah.
Yes, a Molly system. So we can put on all kinds of things.
First aid kits,
First aid kits,
poop bag
pouches.
holders.
Yeah, I didn't tell you this actually, but I ordered them all like little Velcro name stickers and phone number stickers, both of our phone numbers that we can put onto their vests.
Oh, so that when they get dates, they can give them the phone number. Is that
Sure.
how it works? Hey, you
I'd be
want my
"Here,
number?
Take
hey,
a picture of my
hey,
vest.
Hey, baby, take my number. Rip that off.
So
Rip
there's
off
going
the
to be
Velcro.
no escapos because everybody's going to be in their tactical vests, and every time the RV stops, before any doors are opened, every dog is getting clipped onto some kind of ring that is part of the RV.
This is like nautical almost.
Yes, kind of like that. But it was ridiculous.
So they get washed overboard. I think that makes some
It
sense.
was ridiculous.
It's a land.
Don't they know the
boat.
story of Coconut Harry?
Don't they? Didn't they pay attention at all?
Oh my God.
I had the good idea, or the dad joke idea, that we should just Velcro them to the side of the RV, and like they have little Velcros on their thing. Just Velcro them.
Yeah, you did have that.
Velcro them to each other.
Yeah.
Have like a big dog lump that doesn't fit through doors. I think there's some potential with this Velcro stuff. I I think it's an underappreciated material.
Guys, it was such a terrible
It's
trip.
like
Oh my
Gore-Tex.
God.
You know, Gore-Tex is waterproof. Velcro, like, it's really attaches.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a good invention. That was a terrible drive. It was good that we're not just, here for a week or whatever.
We're not doing that drive again for a long time.
I know.
I mean, we obviously have to go back, but then after that, it's going to be a long time before we do it again.
No, we should almost box them up and send them UPS or something. I mean, there's got to be an
Private
alternative.
jet.
Yeah,
There is a simple answer. Private jet would solve all of our problems.
private big jet, like John Travolta having a 707 or something.
Yeah, that Lear 35A that we flew in that one time to Chicago is not big enough.
No, that was barely big enough for, what do we have then? 5.
6. 5. That's right, 5. No, we need like a 12-person private jet, maybe with some staff.
Well, yeah, we need pilots and loaders and handlers.
Yeah, handlers. Like
Handlers.
not just us. Like we need a couple people to help
Yeah.
the dogs in it. I bet we could actually recruit from the Friends of the Squad to be like, would somebody like to be a handler on the private jet with us?
Oh, yeah, that's
know?
easy. Boy, that's not hard. The harder part is the private jet
Private
part.
jet.
Staffing it should not be that hard.
I'm going to have to do something where I can get like $100 million.
Play the lottery. No, sorry, win the lottery. We've tried the playing. It doesn't get you anything unless you win.
Yeah.
I keep winning $2.
That's not going to get us a private
No.
jet.
It's like you can play one more time, but that's too late then. So the money's all gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, we stink at playing the lottery.
Well, anyway,
Yeah. There we go.
it was so bad. I'm still not quite over it. And it's like a week later.
I think we haven't quite caught up sleep-wise for one thing, but
No.
also psychologically, I think you haven't shaken the terror of
So
seeing
bad.
dogs out of control,
God, bolting is
Off.
so bad.
off leash.
No. So it's a good thing. I mean, we're here for at least 3 more weeks.
Yeah.
Maybe longer, depending on what crazy crap I decide to do. We're not going to talk about that until if it happens. But yeah, then we're going to go back and then not for a long time.
See, we've tried the alternative of taking 2 days, and that stinks too, because trying to stay in an Airbnb with these dogs is not much sleep either. So it's like generally you kind of, it's really is 6 of one, half dozen the other. They're both not good alternatives.
It's funny, when we were driving up, we were talking like, why did we stop? We were talking about one of the places we stopped. Why did we do that? And when we got here, I was like, now I know why. Because like it would have been so nice to get out of that damn RV at like 10 p.m.
Yeah.
and, drive another 6 or 7 hours the next day.
Yeah. But it is a terrible night. So you remember that part, and you're just like, oh, well, that wasn't a good experience at the Airbnb either.
There was one Airbnb. Oh,
That was the wood inside the cigar box.
We had 7 dogs, including Nacho and Cheddar and Remy, who were all trying to murder each other. Like we had a baby gate up in the RV to keep Cheddar on one side of it.
Yes.
And we stopped at this very nice Airbnb, and we had a crate for Nacho, and we had to keep him crated the whole time. And everybody had to be fed separately. Like there was so much tension because right before, I think it was like October, and I think we adopted out Nacho in November and Cheddar in December. So we were just kind of like sorting through all of that mess.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was not, I think it was Nacho. It might have been
We had Voods, didn't we? We may have had Voods also.
I don't know. This is irrelevant to my story.
Fair enough. Go ahead.
It could have been guac, but I think it was Nacho. We fed on the back porch of this Airbnb. So we put his bowl out there, and I was like, great, like here's your bowl, stay out on the back porch, we'll feed everybody else in here. I think Cheddar we put in a bedroom, everybody else could kind of eat. And I went out to get Nacho, and Nacho was gone. He had just run straight through the screen door.
It was a hole in the
porch.
screen drawer and
Yes.
no Nacho.
So the whole screen got pulled out, and he had just taken off into this property in South Carolina.
Yeah, I think it was Nacho because it was
Yeah.
completely reckless thing that he would do.
And how long has he been gone? Where did he go? I did eventually find him.
Yeah,
But-
but there was like a giant lake next to that
Yes,
place.
there was.
He could have like swum away.
Absolutely
It was
could have.
absurd.
It was terrible. That was terrible. It would be so nice to be able to stop. What we need someone create this either in like the top 100 miles of Florida or in South Carolina. Okay, we will pay you good money for this. Get like half an acre of land, fence it like 6 foot tall, secure metal fence with a gate, and like give us the gate code.
Like a dog park gate, like with 2 gates.
Well, we got to be able to pull the RV into
All
it.
right,
So
fair
I'm thinking, all right, so fenced property with a gate that the RV can drive into. Gravel is fine, but not dirt because we've gotten the RV stuck on dirt before. We should be able to drive it in a circle and pull back out without having to back out. And then like in the middle, just like an electric and water hookup for the RV.
Yeah.
But securely fenced, so those dogs can be out in there running around like crazy, and we just close that gate once we pull the RV in and we're done. I will pay you $500 a night for this half acre of securely fenced property with electric and water hookup for the RV. Wouldn't that be perfect?
No, it wouldn't be perfect, but it would be fine. It would.
The problem with an Airbnb
would be
is
a nice bed with cloudy, puffy pillows and nice air conditioning and no bugs. And
I know, but then we have to worry about the dogs destroying it.
Just buy another one. I mean, if we're paying $500 a night again, it's fine.
If you got a securely fenced half acre within 15 minutes of I-95,
you can put a little house in the middle. It's fine. We don't have to stay in the stupid RV.
we could just leave all the dogs in the RV and like we could stay in the little house.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh my God, it's terrible. I'm dreading the drive back.
If while you're dreaming, let's dream a nice place for us to stay and sleep.
All right, well here's the solution, and we just have to buy a house in South Carolina.
We almost bought. This is another tidbit because it's no rules. We were looking at a graveyard in Philadelphia.
Oh my God. This
cemetery. I'm sorry, it's a cemetery.
Zillow gone wild. There is this old cemetery for sale for like $800,000, $1 million.
I think it was $1 million even. Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm like, Ingo, I would like to buy this cemetery and like move into. There's like a little house on it. Like I'm gonna move in there, but it's like a working cemetery.
It has like a cemetery gate with like
an arch
and a name on it and everything, and graves, and of course. Oh yeah, graves.
And it's like there is passive income because like the Philadelphia Orphan Society pays like in perpetuity for the maintenance of the graves that are there. And I'm like, this sounds great. This is my dream.
It was like a block from the Schuylkill. I mean, it was like perfect. Not a bad neighborhood either.
I told Ingo that it reminded me that way back in the day when I used to play The Sims, if your Sims died in the game, they turned into like headstones. And so I found like the biggest property in The Sims and I built a house on it. And then I would like move big families into it.
This is so grim.
It's really dark. And then remove the doors from the house. And then I'd put like the stove next to the curtains and then they'd all catch on fire and die. And then I'd get like 8 headstones, and then I'd move them out into the yard, and then I'd make another Sims family and move them into that house. So the headstones would still be there, and then I would let them all die as well, over and over until I had like a full cemetery. And the fun thing about The Sims is that at night in the cemetery, like ghosts come out of it, like the ghosts of the people who died.
You don't have to control.
Yeah, they're just on their own. These little like, green NPCs. Glowing specters, come out and walk around. And so then if you move someone into that house, they get like spooked all the time because they see the ghosts and they're like, ah! Like just a little exclamation point over their head. Man, I've got screenshots of that on some old computer. I was very proud of that.
But the ghosts come out of the graves.
Yes.
Not out of the house.
Correct. Out of the graves. It puts their headstones in the house, but then you can move them around. So I moved them out into a little cemetery.
If you don't do anything, the headstones are in the house where they died?
Yeah. The bodies, like, they burn up. Well, they're like, oh my God, burn to death. And then, like, poof, it turns into a headstone. Sometimes an urn.
Oh.
Yeah. This is The Sims 2, I think. They're on The Sims 3 now.
I think it's meant to be a sad event that you're supposed to avoid.
I just killed a whole lot of Sims.
Not to court.
Look.
For your decorative purposes.
I wanted to make a cemetery, and it was awesome.
It was
It's
awesome. These are scary things that you shouldn't be divulging in public, and if you were a serial killer, this would be explain.
You know what?
explanation.
They're just like little computer programs. They're not.
I mean, you don't respect them because you've seen their code, Matrix like.
They're not people.
No, not after you burn them to death.
One of my favorite.
I know they're just Tamagotchis. It's fine.
One of my favorite academic papers is like back, I don't know, in the mid aughts. There was a Japanese robot dog. It may still exist, called Aibo.
Yeah.
Little dog, and so there was a whole. It was the first kind of like commercially available robot like that.
It was cute.
It was cute. Yeah, it had a cute little face, like blinky eyes. And there was a whole bunch of like academic research from people kind of in the general space I work in about like what could they be used for? You can bring them to nursing homes. Do they help with loneliness? Like, what is this robot like? What kind of social purpose it can serve? And there is one paper about, is it ethical to kick the robot dog? Like, it's totally unethical to kick an actual dog.
Yes.
But could you like get real mad at the robot dog and kick it? Like
yes.
Beat the robot dog?
Yes.
It makes people really uncomfortable, it turns out.
I understand, but I'm not ready to accord robots and AI any respect at this point.
Okay, but you're mad at me about all these Sims I murdered.
No, I'm just having fun with it. I'm not mad at all. I think the Sims are much more expendable than a dog-shaped robot. That I would have problems with, but wrongly. Falsely. I would falsely have feelings.
Yeah. So anyway, we have been here for almost a week. Everybody loves it because like they can just walk right into the backyard.
There's digging and they're
yeah.
eating sticks and they're barking at all the neighbors that are on three sides.
It's a lot louder here than it is in the Keys.
Oh yeah, there's someone's always like leaf blowing or constructing or whatever. Yeah.
Traffic. It's also like 30 degrees cooler than it is in the Keys.
It was like 50 this morning.
That's
I know.
That's
ridiculous. Crazy. It was nice. And all the dogs are like, this is pretty nice.
Yeah. I mean, it is quite a relief after like August in the Keys to come here.
I mean, it was 106, felt 106 when we left, and now it's 55 in the morning.
The drive up, I had forgotten until you said this. Like, so the RV is like a Chevy truck base.
Yeah.
So like the cab is just the cab of a Chevy pickup truck, and then the RV is just like a box put on like the frame of that Chevy truck. And so in the front there's like the same air conditioning that you would have.
The same vents. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's just there's no changes other than like a few extra buttons that are added in aftermarket. But there's no air conditioning in the back. So if you want it to cool off, or in the winter if you want it to heat in the back, you have to have like the blowers in the cab on and pointing into the back. And it was so hot the whole drive up, basically until the sun went down. Like we would both be taking our turns in the back, like laying on the bed, just sweating.
I mean, it was 100 outside.
And you're just in a metal box.
And it's a wood box, and it's like it's not insulated. That's right. It felt like, I mean, it probably was like 90 in the back there. I was sweating.
But I do want to point out that when you were in the back, I had the air conditioner on full cold and full power, and like the setting was to like max AC. And every time we'd switch and I would come up to drive, I would notice that like the AC was turned a couple notches up from the coldest setting, and it was turned down one from max power.
Yeah, I don't like to have everything on max because I think it'll get tired.
No, you're not one of those, are you?
I mean, I don't think it's rational, but I have that vestigial feeling.
I just want you guys to understand that like he's in front and he's like, the air conditioning might get tired, so I'm going to make it not as cold, and I'm going to make it not blow as hard, while I, Jen, am laying in the back, glistening with sweat.
I mean, I was cold up there.
I was dying. I was also chilly when you were in the back, but I kept it on max for you because I didn't want you to suffer, and you're
That's
like,
nice.
I'm not chilly up here. I'm going to just turn it down a bit so Jen will be fine.
You're nice. I'm sorry, was that not the lesson? I think I missed the point.
Yeah, I think you maybe did. Anyway, no one has escaped here. Backyard's fully fenced, so it's, we actually can watch them less closely than we have to in Florida because they can swim away in Florida or go around the fence.
Here they do dig, though.
Yeah.
They've discovered, I think, the joys of digging, and they are quite good at it.
They dig in Florida too in the sand.
Yeah, but the sand is seems like it's less destructive than in the grass.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the things where, like, I just couldn't care less about them digging, and Ingo gets real mad about them digging here.
Like, it makes mud.
Just,
They're gonna be dirty, Jen.
I just don't worry about it.
Wait,
Ingo's got like towels all over the place here,
when
like
it rains.
and I'm just like, it's fine.
When it
Right.
rains.
Whatever.
I put a
they'll
towel
get
inside so
some
their little
fringe
paws will
down.
get clean.
But the towel sticks around for like 4 days after, just in case.
It doesn't dry out until 4 days after.
I'm just saying, I lived here for like a long time before I knew you, and
It was a
never had
muddy
the towel.
mud
It was
pit.
not.
It was always muddy, wasn't it?
No.
Do you remember the mudness?
No, there was not any.
Well, that was before climate change, so there was never it never rained. It never rained. But we went to see a baseball game. That was nice.
Yeah, Cubs were in town, my hometown team. So Cubs played the Nats. We went to that. Cubs won. Go
Yeah.
Cubs.
Yeah. Go Nats.
I mean, the Nats are like my number 2 team.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have been like crushed if they
No.
had won, but nice to see my Cubbies win.
It was fine.
Yep. We're eating food like crazy because there's so many options here.
Oh man, we've already had like 3 different ethnicities of food that we can't even get in the Keys.
That's true. That's great.
Indian being one of them.
Yeah. The Indian food here is great.
Yeah.
I got
Chipotle
nothing
is
else.
another one.
Chipotle is delicious, and
We can't get it in the Keys.
can't get it in the Keys, which makes it extra delicious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of the ethnicities. There's Indian and Chipotle. That's 2.
Chipotle, yeah. I'm sure we've had something else.
Yeah. Well,
Pot
yeah.
belly, a lot of pot belly.
I brought some coconuts so the dogs would feel at home.
Yeah, that's work. They're chewing on them.
Yeah. Guac was trying to husk it the other day.
That's great.
More power to him.
All right, you got anything else you want to talk about?
Whoa.
It's no rules.
We have to talk about the dog. We'd have to do dog updates.
What other updates are there?
Growth?
Fair enough.
Ella's growing like crazy. She looks like Zola a lot more.
Yeah.
Zola is plateaued, but seems to be kind of squaring out a little bit.
I love her. She's beautiful.
She's very sturdy.
Yeah.
Maybe because Fetta's such a skinny little fox dog. But Zola is definitely
Blocky.
sturdy.
Yeah.
Yeah. She still, attacks Fetta sometimes. But now Ella also attacks Zola, and it's a nice little triumvirate.
Ella and Guac are like really working things out.
Ella is so interested in Guac.
She loves him. She wants to play with him so bad. And he's doing such a great job of setting boundaries with her. So he plays and he like pretends to bite her head. They're in the snaps today. They like chase each other around. But when she gets to be too much for him, he never hurts her. But
He gets like extra loud.
extra loud and kind of pins her down and holds her. And then she'll be like,
He's kind of think about what you did.
yeah. So she's learning great boundaries with him, and just in like the week we've been here, like they're playing much more engagedly because she's learned the rules.
I think he went through this process with Feta too, where
Yeah.
Feta was kind of annoying at first, and Guac was being way overly excited at first, and it was a mismatch.
Yeah.
But he tones it down a little bit, and and Feta, who's more nervous anyway, got braver.
But they're all doing good.
Yeah, Ella's doesn't have any timidity problems.
No.
Ella's kind of heedless.
She does, like now though, when she plays with Guac and he like opens his mouth and comes at her and he's like, rah, she just throws herself to the ground. She's like, oh, you don't have to put me down there. I'll do it myself.
This is fine. It's fine. We still put her in the crate sometimes because there's like cables that she's
she's
interested in here, and my shoe, like there's a shoe rack that I have in my closet that's cedar that she's been chewing on, which gives her fresh breath, but chews on the wood. At least not the
Zola
wall.
just like was eating the bedroom rug, which is one of our few nice rugs. Yeah, mostly we just get cheap Amazon rugs, but that's like a Pottery Barn rug. She was eating it like an apple. Just like Maybe like fruit leather. I don't know. She chewed into it though, like starting on the edge.
I was just talking to someone whose dog would go into their closet and eat through the drywall, and like figured and actually made a hole to their bedroom through the back of the closet. Like it was like a Shawshank Redemption situation.
I had a dog who ate drywall.
That's crazy.
They just press the side of their face up on the wall and then scrape at it with the teeth on that side. Yeah, it was real destructive. That was in a rental too.
You can really work your way through drywall.
You can,
you
turns
can
out.
make a hole.
No, yep, sure can.
That's not good. We're not at that stage.
No.
Thank goodness.
She's okay. She's doing better.
You had them for walks the other day. How'd they do?
I
Walkies.
didn't take Ella on the walkie, but I took Feta and Zola, and of course Guacamane. He's perfect.
Yeah.
Feta and Zola both did pretty good. I mean, they're not very experienced leash walkers yet, but they did fine. They listened. So we're gonna do more walkies. We're gonna do some tonight.
That's great.
Yeah.
This is a better area to walk. Well, I don't know. It's different. It's not as hot and it's not as mosquito-y as
There
in
are
Florida.
mosquitoes here, though.
No.
All right, we're getting boring. You got anything else you want to talk about?
I'm not bored. I'm fine. No, I don't have anything special.
I'm bored. God. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us for this No Rules podcast. Hopefully, I'll find my notes.
If we find our notes, we're gonna do so many keys
There's
updates.
so many interesting
There's
things.
probably like a fish story in there somewhere.
Pretty
or,
sure there's a fish scandal.
Come on.
Yeah, we'll do this next time.
Yeah.
And until then, Slava Ukraini, and don't put anyone unless they ask you to.
That's right.
Bye.
Bye.